Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Tuplex, and today we're going to be making high-tech science packs now that we have batteries and processing units. Before we start though, I just wanted to point out a change that I made to the base just recently. After the last episode, I noticed that plastic was running low, and initially it was because it wasn't getting enough oil. Now that we're making sulfuric acid for the batteries and the blue circuits, that puts some additional demand on our petroleum, and we just weren't getting enough. So what I did is I ran some power poles and pipes, here we go, out to this area, and I put in some more pump jacks, and then those go into a tank, and then out of the tank I have a electric pump. I also put speed modules into the pump jacks. These are level 1 speed modules, the first level. So each module will give us a 20% boost in speed, and the trade-off is that it consumes 50% more electricity for each module that we use. So with 2 of those in there, we get a 40% speed boost, but the trade-off is that each one uses 100% more electricity. So, but for 6 pump jacks, I wasn't too concerned about the electricity. All right, so we have these 3 now with a 40% speed boost, and then I also added modules to the ones that we started the game with. So we doubled the number of pump jacks, and then we increased it by 40%. So that'll give us quite a lot more oil, crude oil, than we had been getting before. And on the pipe coming back to the base, there were 1 or 2 spots where I added an extra pump just to help push things along. In this game, as pipes get longer, the flow rate decreases. So I just added that extra pump along the way just to kind of help things move through there, to make sure that we just didn't have a flow problem. All right, so and then after that was fixed, they started running better, but then they were running low on coal because the coal patch that we have been using for plastic and smelting is shrinking. You know, some of the mining drills have mined out already. So what I did is I added some mining drills over here on this patch that we're using for steam power, and brought this over here. And then I upgraded to red belts where all this merges together to get some more throughput, and then here the red splits into 2 yellows. Okay, and now we're doing good. So let's get into our circuits, or our science packs rather. All right, so I'm going to start by spacing things out. That's 1, 2. Oh, sorry. That's 2. That's 4. 4, 6, 8. There we go. So that's 8 spaces, and then that's where the first belt is going to go. All right. So, checking our recipe for high-tech science packs. Again, this comes out in pairs, as with the last 2 that we've done. So 2 every 14 seconds means that we need 7 machines making these. So let's go ahead and put in 7 machines. That's 3, 5, and 7. And these will all be making high-tech science packs. Get rid of that rock there, and then as usual we'll put in our power poles and lights. Okay, now this needs 1 battery, 3 processing units, and then we need speed modules and copper cables as well. So I think what I'd like to do is on this side we'll run a combined belt of batteries and blue circuits. And then our output will come out here. And then we can bring the output. Oh, I think I shot my belt by mistake. Not sure how that happened. Okay, and then we'll run our belt over here, where it will side load onto that one and travel to the labs. Okay, and then we'll just put our inserters in place for our inputs, and then red inserters for the output. Alright, and it looks like I need more yellow belts. I'm just going to craft some by hand since I have a lot of plate and gear already. Okay, so let's grab batteries here. And then, alright, yeah, so the blue circuits, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this underground like that. And then I'm going to put a splitter right there, since I do need to run this in both directions. And then we'll bring that belt down here. And I'll just empty it in there. I won't use another splitter there because I don't think we need blue circuits anywhere to the west of here. Okay, so that's looking good. All right, now we need a speed module and 30 copper cables. Now let's think about these copper cables for a minute, because that's a lot of copper cables. If we need 30, basically we need 30 every 2 seconds to feed this build, which is 15 per second. So that means that we need a full yellow belt. Full yellow belt will take care of 15 per second. A yellow belt will actually do 16 and is it 16? No, 13.3. It's 40 divided by 3. 13.3. Yeah, so we're going to need a red belt. Red belt will do 26 and 2/3. An easy way to remember belt capacities is just to remember that a blue belt, which we can't currently make yet, a blue belt will do 40 per second. And then you divide that into thirds. So a red belt is 2/3 of a blue belt, and a yellow belt is 1/3 of a blue belt. So that's how you can remember those numbers more easily. The 40 per second is fairly easy to remember, in my opinion. All right, so in any case, we're going to need 15 copper cables per second. And we get 4 per second per machine. So we need 4 machines making copper cables to keep this thing running. All right, so where do we want to put those 4 machines? We could put them down here, but then we're getting kind of close to the path. So I think what I'll do instead is, maybe we could put them over here. I want to save room here for the speed modules. Let's do the speed modules first, and then we'll get into this part. So this is going to be for the copper cable. I'm going to use stack inserters to feed these in because there are quite a lot that need to be put in a short amount of time. So we'll use the stack inserters. Those can pick up, with our current level of research, they can pick up 4 at a time. You can research additional levels and get that up to 12, I believe, at at the highest level of research. So 4 at a time should be more than enough to get 30 in there in the space of 14 seconds. Okay, so let's look at the speed modules. We need, like we said before, we need, we're going to need one every 2 seconds. So one speed module per 2 seconds means that we need 7.5 machines making speed modules because they take 15 seconds each. But obviously we'll have to round that up to 8. So if we have 7 of these and we need 8 making the speed modules, how could we do that? I'd like to try to insert directly if we could. So let's try something a little bit different. I'm gonna pick all this up and I'm gonna lay this out in a slightly different way so that we can do direct insertion of those speed modules rather than placing them on a belt. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. All right. So in this case, we'll have to arrange our power poles a little bit differently, but that's not a big deal. So let's reset this. And then our outputs. Okay, and then we'll put, let's see, we'll put power there. Yeah, we'll have to put power at each of these places, and then I think there's a little bit of room left to throw in a couple lights. Okay, so now we've got 7 that are a little more compact, and then what we can do is if we offset 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that'll give us 8. Let's pick up this belt. This is going to be for copper, remember. But in this way, we can get 2 machines inserting into each of these. And I think this will work out so that on average, we're getting these in time. But do I have enough room for the copper belt? I do not. So we're going to need to get our copper in there. Let's see, how can we do this? Because I need a red belt and I need this to be close. Okay, so we're going to use stack inserters to bring in the copper wire. These can handle 4 at a time at the current level of research. If we look at the stack inserter research, let's see, where is it? Here we go. Right, so the inserter capacity bonus can go up to level 7. At that level, I think you can move 12 items at a time, so it gets to be pretty powerful. But right now we can do 4, and if we do 4 at a time, over the course of 14 seconds, we'll be able to pick up 30 copper cables. We can move 8 per second, so that won't be a problem. Okay, and then we're going to need a belt for the speed modules. Right, we need 1 speed module per, which means that we need 1 every 2 seconds. Now, speed modules craft at 15 seconds each. So 1 every 2 seconds means that we need 7.5 machines, which of course we will round up to 8. So let's put in 8 machines making speed modules. And if I put the last one down here, you know, I'm just going to offset this by 1, just so we make sure that all the machines are getting enough. So that's 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, and these are level 1 speed modules. I did this just because my concern is that if I put the first one here, that means that this machine is only feeding that machine. And I'm not sure if that's gonna feed all of them properly. Maybe it will. Anyway, so I just offset it a little bit to make sure that that all those science pack machines are going to get fed with speed modules. Okay, so that means we're going to need red inserters, bringing those modules in. Okay, and obviously yellow inserters, spitting the modules out. Right, so each one of these needs at least one speed module machine plus an eighth of another one, basically. So yeah, so this layout should work. This should work fine. Because this one is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 above it. Yeah, this will work. Okay, now the speed modules, they need 5 advanced circuits and 5 electronic circuits each. So the question then is, can we use a combined belt for those two? 15 seconds, we've got 8, right? So we need 2.5 of each per second, right? Because it's 1 every 2 seconds. Yeah, 2.5 per second. So 1 yellow belt ought to do the trick. And then we'll just put some fast inserters. And maybe even yellow inserters would be enough. Let's think about that for a moment. Yellow inserters. Yellow inserters can move 2 items per second, more or less. Here we need 10 every 15 seconds. So yeah, so we could use, let's go ahead and just use yellow inserters here. You know, I think I mentioned previously, I tried to make the build work with the lowest tier components possible, just to save on resources. It also saves on energy. A yellow inserter uses 13 kilowatts. A stack inserter, for example, uses 132. That's 10 times as much. And a blue inserter uses 46 kilowatts. So we save a lot of energy by using yellow inserters wherever we can. All right. So then this belt is going to have green on one side and red on the other. So it's going to look like it's Christmas time in Factorio land. Okay, got lucky there. All right, let's see here. So this could get tricky. I think I'll have to make this one red. I'll just clear out that whole area. Oh, that needs to be red. Okay, and then I need to get green circuits there somehow. Okay, so we've got to the highest level of mining productivity that we can reach at the moment. What else could we research now? Actually, let's check on our rockets. We still need speed module 3s before we can do the rocket silo research. So until then, let's do automation 3. All right, so we need to get green circuits down there, and I think I'm going to have to. Take a more circuitous route. Oh yeah, look at this. That's a mistake. See how this is not full? That's because I have the wrong splitter there. Alright, so I think I can bring a green circuit down here. Okay. And we'll need another underground here. There we go. And this can be done with a yellow belt. Yeah, this is going to get a little bit messy here. Okay. Like I said, it's a little messy, but it'll work. And then that'll jump over there. Oh, actually that's how I damaged it. I pushed C instead of X. There we go. Okay. So we are now making speed modules. And we'll just keep an eye on this and make sure that we're feeding in the circuits fast enough. I think we are. And it'll take a few moments for the first ones to come out. Okay, so we need the copper cables now. Let's work on that next. Alright, so we need 4 machines making copper cables, and I think we could put those over here. So let's go ahead and set that up. And what I'm going to do, we'll have a line of copper coming in there, feeding 2 machines, and then we'll have 2 more machines over there on that side, and another line of copper. Alright, so this is not going to be the most compact, obviously. Now, another way we could do this would be to make it more compact, and let's do that. We could do it like this. Alright, so these are all going to be copper cables. Alright, so we got automation 3. We might as well research logistics 3. That'll give us access to blue belts, which I'm not planning to use right now, but we may decide to do that at a later time. Alright. So the problem here is going to be that we don't want to load only one side of the belt, right? I want to load both sides of the belt. So one thing we can do is if I move these inserters to give me a little more space, if we do that, these two, as you know, we always load the far side of the belt. These two will load the far side of the belt, which will then come and side load onto the inside of the belt, and then these two will load the far side. And by doing that, we'll end up with a belt that's evenly loaded on both sides. And then we can feed that over there. All right, so we just need to bring in a line of copper, and then we will be good to go. So let's get that set up. There we go. And we should be in business. So let's see how this works. And I think it would certainly help if we actually bring the copper plate into the machines. There we go. All right, so you can see here how this this results in a belt that's loaded on both sides rather than only one. And now we sit back and see if it all works. All right, so the question here is going to be to make sure that we're making enough copper wire. The ones down here at the end are still waiting to get any of it. Now, the first time you start up a machine, the machine always wants to load enough items to make 2 of whatever it makes. So when you first start things up, it pulls a lot more off of the belt than what it really needs, which is why you kind of need to let it run for a cycle or 2 before you make any decisions as to whether you're producing fast enough. So what I can see here is that this one is just not really getting any copper wire. Maybe I just need to be patient and wait longer. Yeah, because these are still trying to pick up. Yeah, see, they want to have 60. Now that that one has 60, it's going to stop picking up until it makes another one. So again, we'll let this run for a moment here. And then once they're all producing, as they are now, hopefully things will stabilize. Okay, so all the modules are running okay. We do have, remember, we have half of a machine more than what we actually need for the modules. Yeah. Some of these machines are still picking up extras. All right, but yeah, so it looks like our calculations were correct, and looks like we're getting enough copper wire. You know, if we needed more copper wire, it would be very easy to add another couple machines over there, obviously. But again, try to use the minimum amount of resources that we need to make it work. And this appears to be working just fine. Let's take a look at our production graph. If we press P, we can look at our science pack production. And I'll look at it for 10 minutes, let's say, so that we can get a more stable average. So we can see that most of our science packs are running right around 45 a minute. Purple's a little bit slower than that. High tech, obviously we just started, so but if we look at our 1 minute graph, it's climbing up to 45. So looks like we're in good shape there. We'll reset our filters. Okay, so now we have high-tech production. Let's head up to the science lab, and I'm going to use my car. Throw in some coal. Drive very, very carefully. I am not good at this at all. Alright, we'll just leave the car there. Alright, and then we can see that the science packs are starting to accumulate up here. So as soon as Logistics 3 finishes, then we can do Speed Module 3s. I think that's the next one that we need. Let's see. Yeah, we need Speed Module 3. That's going to be next. And then we'll do our rocket silo research, and then we can start setting up to do the rocket launch. And while we're setting that up, we'll continue to do the next few levels of mining productivity. Okay. And then if you wanted, you could, after Logistics 3 is set up, you could set up production of blue belts in much the same way that we did with the yellow and the red. Blue belts do require lubricant, which we'll see here in a moment. Okay, so let's go ahead and do those speed modules. Yeah, blue belts require lubricant, so they can't be crafted by hand. You have to use a machine. And you can see that they require the red belts, the red items, plus a lot of gears. Look at this. A blue underground belt requires 80 gears to make one. Plus the 2 red underground belts, which take 40 gears each. So that's 160 gears to make one blue underground belt, which is, 320 iron plates. It's pretty ridiculous. All right, so that's going to do it for this episode. I'm going to go ahead and let this research finish for Speed Module 3 and then Rocket Silo. And then in the next episode, we'll start getting set up to make a rocket. Thanks for watching. See you then. Bye-bye.